The Met Office has issued a rare red weather warning.
Some very strong winds, particularly affecting coastal areas.
Conditions really are brutal. There's driving rain, dropping temperatures, and winds are forecast to potentially gust to up to 90 miles an hour.
It's relentless. One winter storm after another blasting the landscape. Millions of trees have been brought down.
The northeast of England has been hit really hard. A great knot here in Cumbria, which is one of our larger woods. We've lost over a third of the woodland.
This is the heart of the Lake District. Kelvin Archer manages the Woodland Trust's forests in the north of England.
It's a big oak, isn't it? It's a real shame it's gone.
He spends most of his time now assessing damage. His dog always with him.
Predominantly this normally happens in Scotland, which this year has been hit horrendously hard by the storms. It doesn't normally come down this far. We had the Beast of the East a few years ago that did hit us here, but the last couple of years we've been hit again and again. North East is starting to look a bit like Scotland for wind blow and wind damage and storm damage, and now we're getting over in Cumbria. So there's a clear pattern of change.
Close to the shore of Lake Windermere, this is Ray Castle. There's clearing up happening here too. The storms have cost the National Trust around £4 million. The charity says already it's been the worst season for 40 years. It says that in a huge blow to British heritage, many iconic trees have been lost.
So this is a national champion crested beech. It's a champion of Britain and Ireland because it's the biggest tree of that species in terms of girth. When you lose any big, really big, prominent tree, it's sad, and this one particularly because it's been at Ray Castle for a long time. It's an important tree because it's the biggest, and to see it blown over is really sad. I think it's probably a Douglas fir.
Richard takes us deep into the worst hit area. It's still closed to the public. Many of these trees have been weakened, and his team hasn't yet been able to make it safe. This is the kind of hidden damage that forest managers are really worried about. Across the UK, there are hundreds of thousands of giant trees like this that have fallen. Many of the felled trees can be sold for timber, but there are so many of them that they're likely to fetch a lower price. But storm damage can have its benefits. Bonnie Waring is a senior lecturer at Imperial College London.
When a tree falls down, it creates a gap in the canopy that lets light through. That helps light-dependent species thrive. And the dead tree itself is a really important habitat for species that are of conservation concern.
However, Richard admits finding the scale of the restoration work ahead daunting and depressing.
If you look at all the smashed tops of the trees, it kind of reminds you a bit of those photos you see of a battlefield. I've never seen a battlefield, but the pictures you see, the trees sort of look like that. It just looks like somebody's set off a bomb.
And now Storm Dudley is on its way. The horizon is darkening once again. Winter isn't over yet. Can the survivors stay standing? Claire Marshall, BBC News, Cumbria.